Saturday night's incident at the White House Correspondents Dinner is raising security questions, including here in Kentucky. Today, WKYT spoke with security consultant James Stevens, who called what happened disturbing. Stevens helps schools and organizations across the state build security plans for large events. WKYT's Jackson Plank talked to him about the security concerns it highlighted and what can be learned from it. It's our top story at 11.
I wouldn't say that these attacks come at us as a surprise. They're expected.
James Stevens says in today's political climate, security teams have to assume threats and plan accordingly. He stresses details are still preliminary, but says it appears the suspect may have targeted the president by going after what he calls the weakest link, the magnetometer checkpoint. He says that's why security starts before the first guest arrives with a layered approach.
I stayed a week at that hotel. I know the area. I spent a lot of time just walking around and looking. That individual knew that once he got to that magnetometer, he had to rush through that in order to have a chance to get into the ballroom. And when you look at the video footage, that individual did exactly that.
Stevens, a former officer, says it's concerning the suspect got as far as he did, reaching what he calls the last layer of security. He says the quick response from agents nearby may have prevented a much more worse outcome, given weapons investigators say were involved. And he urges people to speak up if they see someone becoming isolated or consumed by political rhetoric. Saying see something, say something can make a difference. He stresses no plan is foolproof.
With those plans, unfortunately, some things can still go wrong. That's why we've got to learn to react to the known, prepare for the unknown.
Stevens says the bottom line is planning ahead and responding fast when someone tests the system. Jackson Blank, WKYT.